May I come in, sir?
Yes, come in.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
ma'am.
Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Are you fully vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
No symptoms of COVID?
Yes, sir.
May remove your mask.
Thank you, sir.
Narinder Pal Singh,
Yes, sir.
give a brief introduction about yourself.
Sir, I basically hail from the city of Jalandhar. I have done BTech in Electrical Engineering from IIT Ropar. After that, sir, I did post-graduation diploma in management from IIM Rohtak in 2016. I worked for nearly 3 years in Wipro as IT consultant, and sir, currently I'm working as GST inspector in Mumbai.
Narinder, tell me, you are a highly qualified person. You have done your graduation in engineering, post-graduation, MBA and all that. And after that, you worked in a reputed company like Wipro for a few years. Then why did you decide to quit that job to join the government, that too at an inspectorial level?
From the beginning, my aim was to join civil services. Sir, no doubt in case of Wipro, the work experience and the exposure was quite good. But sir, I was not able to devote enough time to my studies. So luckily at that time I had cleared this examination and I decided to join it so that after my office hours, I can study and prepare for means. Apart from that, sir, I also wanted to have experience of the government sector where I finally wanted to be in.
So you are already working as a GST inspector, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Where are you posted?
Sir, Mumbai.
You are posted in Mumbai. Okay. Tell me the achievements of GST so far, the last 4 or 5 years of its existence.
Sir, one of the achievements is, as can be recently seen, the revenues, they have increased a lot. 1,68,000 crores in the month of April. Constantly, the GST revenues, they have got revenue of more than 1 lakh crore in the last 10 months. It has increased compliance a lot and now more and more people are registering. Cascading effect of taxes has gone down and the investments, they are coming in. Apart from that, the tax structure, it has become simple as well.
Okay, and what are the challenges before the GST according to you?
Sir, from the taxation structure point of view, there are still many slabs and many items still out of the GST net. From the technical point of view, many times the traders, they face difficulties in uploading their invoices. Apart from that, sir, sometimes the bandwidth is also less and the data mismatches are there.
Okay. You said that lot many commodities are still to be included and brought under the ambit of GST. One such important material is your petroleum products. What do you think? Should it not be brought under the regime of GST?
Sir, I think petroleum should still not be included in the GST net, because if it is included in GST net, then it will have to be kept in 28% slab, and then again cesses will have to be applied on it to make up for the losses in the revenue. So it will further make the structure complex. Apart from that, sir, there will be the states will also not agree to that. So I think we should allow GST to stabilize a bit, and maybe after that, petroleum can be included.
Recently, we heard a news that a lot of fraud had taken place while claiming the input tax credit by various traders, and ran into several hundreds of crores. What the department follow-up action has been taken by the department to arrest this trend?
So firstly, the Directorate General of Analytics and Risk Management, that is part of the Central Board of Indirect Taxes, it is analyzing the data of the various firms and trying to find out the shell companies. Then this data, it is actually sent to the various divisions and the ranges for the follow-up action. Apart from that, sir, the anti-evasion wings in the various divisions, they are also working to find out such fraud firms. And sir, presently invoicing for the firms up to 100 crore revenue, that has also been introduced for matching the invoice receipts of the suppliers and the recipients.
Okay, thank you very much.
Narinder, How are you?
I'm good, sir.
Narinder, I can see that you did your graduation from IIT, electrical engineering,
Yes, sir.
and then management from IIM.
Yes, sir.
And neither electrical engineering nor management is the one you chose as an optional paper. Both are available. If IITs, IIM can't give you the basic confidence in your core discipline, who else will?
Sir, I was a working professional, and sir, I didn't have the privilege of like going to coaching because I had to work as well, coming from the modest family. And sir, my father, he happens to be a graduate in Punjabi literature. So it was basically his inspiration because of which I took up this subject so that I can have a coach at home only. Apart from that, sir, I also like to have like diversity in my life. So I had already studied electrical engineering, uh, management, and it was like a new opportunity for me to study a new thing.
Okay, let's start with electrical engineering. If you have a three-phase AC and convert it into DC, how will you do that?
So basically, there are certain devices known as rectifiers.
That I understand, but it is a three-phase one. How to make it a DC thing?
Sir, I will have to read more on it.
Okay, let there be a single-phase AC and you have to convert it into three-phase AC. How will you do that?
So we can use the rectifier.
Rectifier? AC to AC.
AC to AC?
Yes, you have a single-phase AC, you need three-phase AC.
Sir, I need to read more on it, sir.
Okay, let's talk about management then. If in the management, we generally talk about the MIS, DSS, and RDBMS. Okay? Should I explain these or you remember these? MIS, I'm sure you know.
Yes, sir.
DSS is Decision Support System, and RDBMS, you already know, the Database Management System. How they help in the management when it comes to the core management practices?
So basically through two ways. Firstly, management information systems, they help in organizing the data. So which can be used by the management to take decisions. Secondly,
Too generic, I'm talking with a management graduate, postgraduate actually.
sorry sir?
You're giving too generic a reply. I'm
Yes.
expecting something concrete,
Yes.
specialized.
So in case of the RDBMS, basically the data which has many categories, it can be linked together through the use of keys and the other fields. So basically that also helps in analyzing the data, and the managers, they can basically use the SQL queries to use this data and analyze it to take decisions.
Can you give me one example each of all these three things? One RDBMS, one DSS, and one MIS.
Sir, MIS, I'm not sure of. RDBMS, I'm able to remember. Sir, in case of RDBMS, there can be, for example, data related to a hotel. So in the hotel, there can be various employees, their salaries and their ages, it can be there. And there can be various rooms as well. And the rooms data can have the capacity.
If this is RDBMS, then what is ERP?
Sir,
To
I
me,
need
what
to,
you're referring is ERP.
Sir, I need to read more on it, sir.
Okay, let's leave the management as well. Punjabi literature is, you said, you're most comfortable. Tell me the dialects of Punjabi which are spoken in Pakistan, and just give me a brief description of these.
Sir, one is the Pothohari,
Right?
another one is the Machi.
Yes.
Sir, in case of Pothohari,
Where is it spoken? Which part of Pakistan?
Sir, I will have to check that up, sir.
Okay, the linguistic characteristics?
So the use of certain vocabulary such as jakat for a child, it is there. Also, sir, it has very less use of tone as well, which is not in case of the other dialects of Punjabi language.
What exactly is the history of Gurmukhi script? Why, when it was already being written in the Arabic and the Urdu script, why it was necessary to have this in Shahmukhi and Gurmukhi?
Sir, the earlier scripts, they were having many problems, such as the characters were not in the right position, and many of the words they had to be invented. So because of this, the gurus they invented this new script by modifying the earlier ones.
Give me one example. Which word cannot be written in Shahmukhi and in Urdu scripts and the khat which is to be written in Gurmukhi?
Sir, like word meal and mal, it is written in the only one form in case of the Persian and the Shamukhi. However, in case of Gurmukhi, it can be written in 3 different forms: meal and mal.
Anyways, thank you. Sir.
Narinder,
Yes, sir.
you did your post-graduation diploma from IIM Rohtak, right? Tell me something about the attributes of a manager, of a successful manager.
Sir, a manager has a vision. That vision is actually aligned to the objectives of the organization on whole. A manager has a good grasp over the technology as well, through which he is able to get the work done. A manager also has a good connect with his or her subordinates, and he is able to motivate them to get the work done.
Okay, it is said that a rational emotive manager ensures emotional rehabilitation of employee into the organization, right? How can you will be able to rehabilitate your subordinates to the organization? How can you connect them emotionally to the organizational work?
So, firstly, by providing good hygienic factors such as good salary, good working conditions, this can be the initial step. After
And what
that,
about the motivating factor? You are talking about the conception of Hertzberg,
yes, sir.
hygiene factor and motivating factor.
Yes, sir.
Please continue.
So, from the motivating factor, there needs to be a constant interaction with the employees, of the manager with the employees. Apart from that, in case of the motivating factors, the employees, they should be trained at regular intervals, because if they will not be trained, then they will get demotivated at times. And thirdly, sir, giving rewards to employees in form of recognition or promotions when they are doing well.
What's the difference between a manager and a leader?
Sir, a manager is basically a person who works in one of the functional departments in case of an organization, while a leader is more of like an independent person who leads the people and motivates them for a vision.
Okay. Narinder, it is said that leadership is a capacity to influence. It's a kind of capacity from superior to subordinate for attainment of organizational goal in a given situation, right? Just explain this statement with your GST career, how it is a capacity to influence. Have you influenced anybody, any of your colleague or your subordinate?
Sir, I have influenced many people. Firstly, sir, the GST department, it is currently facing the shortage of resources. So many times the work overload is there. So I try to motivate people by taking them for like tea break, so that they are always refreshened up. Secondly, sir, I have a good knowledge about the computers and the working of certain softwares. So I try to like tell the other people about these things too, by teaching them about it, so that they are also motivated to do their work in an efficient manner. Thirdly, sir, I have myself cleared civil services means examination twice, so there are many people who are aspiring in the organization to do the same, and I try to guide them for this thing as well.
Okay, my last question is, Narinder, tell me India's stand for attainment of permanent membership in the UN Security Council.
India should definitely get a seat in the permanent, like a permanent seat in the UN Security Council, because firstly, now the global trends, they have changed as compared to the World War II time, and India is actually approaching to be a superpower in coming future. Secondly, sir, at present only the powerful countries, they are being represented, and they are doing things as per their own super interests. So there need to be powers like India which can balance them as well.
Very.
Narendra,
Yes, ma'am.
trace the history of Punjab very briefly.
Ma'am, Punjab, in the ancient times, it was a place where the Harappan civilization had also taken its roots, as can be seen in places such as Ropar and Sunet near Ludhiana. during the medieval times, it remained under the Delhi Sultanate rule too, such as the Lodhis, they ruled over here. After that, ma'am, there were Mughal generals who ruled over here, and at that time, even the gurus, they had come into being. So they propagated Sikhism. Later on, ma'am, during the modern times, Maharaja Ranjit Singh established a big kingdom in Punjab, which is known as the Sikh kingdom, and it extended even over Afghanistan. Later on, after the two Anglo-Sikh wars, it was taken over by the Britishers and it remained a British province. In 1947, it got partitioned into West Punjab and East Punjab.
Okay, and what is the relevance of 12 missiles?
Ma'am, after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the Sikhs, they had got disintegrated and various missiles had come up. These missiles, they were basically led by powerful men who had access to land resources, as well as they had many horsemen along with them. So these missiles, they later led to the formation of a Sikh kingdom.
Okay. So tell me, are Indians undisciplined? And should military training be introduced as part of curriculum, as is done in Singapore?
Just like in every society, some people, they are disciplined and some people, they are not indisciplined. But largely, on the basis of the values and the culture of our society, I believe that many of the Indians, they are actually disciplined in life. When for introducing a compulsory military service or training, I think it should not be made compulsory and it should be kept to the will of the people. However, such a provision can be kept for an optional training, because I think the people, they should have freedom to choose or learn what they want to do.
Okay. Tell me, what does secularism mean for you?
Ma'am, secularism, according to me, it means equal respect to all the religions.
Just respect?
Ma'am, through respect, we can derive many other things, such as through respect, ma'am, it means that we will not discriminate between the religions, and we will not view the other people of the other religion with a biased mindset.
My last question to you, tell me names of at least 3 women from Punjab who you think have made their mark in life.
Ma'am, from the history, there is a lady called as Mai Bhago, who had basically fought along with the Sikh military, and as she had fought with the Sikh military, being the only
one from present, I want present icons.
Ma'am, one is the Harsimrat Kaur Badal, who had served as the Minister of Food Processing, who has served as the Minister in the Ministry of Food Processing.
Okay.
Second one is ma'am B.B. Jagir Kaur, who had served as the President of SGPC in the past.
Thank you, Narendra.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
What is the difference between a cess and a surcharge, Narendra?
Ma'am, cess is for directed for a particular use.
Okay.
Whereas surcharge, it is generally not directed for a particular use and it can be used for any purpose.
Okay, and what is the base amount on which it is calculated? Is there a difference there too?
Ma'am, I think it is there, but I need to read it, ma'am.
Okay. So, can you tell me some of the cesses Indian government is charging now?
One is on the 28% goods. The cess is generally charged.
28% goods?
Ma'am, in the case of the GST, on the same goods, a 28% cess is charged.
But you said cess is for a specific purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
So, are you confusing?
I need to read the exact cess and their use.
Okay. And what is the forest cover of Punjab?
Ma'am, it's around 3.6%.
So, don't you think it's terribly, terribly low? And your economy is doing good, new projects are coming, but government is not doing anything about afforestation.
Ma'am, the forest cover, it is particularly low because Punjab being an agrarian state, nearly all the forests since the ancient times, it has been converted into the fields.
Mm-hmm. So we should continue with that? legacy and we should not try to get afforestation done then?
Ma'am, we should definitely do the afforestation.
In that context, is Punjab government doing anything?
Ma'am, Punjab government, it is trying to promote agroforestry and the social forestry on the farmers' land.
Okay, no plans of getting actual forest cover.
Ma'am, I need to read that.
Okay. Have you heard the term called abandoned wives?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. What is happening in international arena? China has been talking about a global security initiative. Have you heard about this concept?
Ma'am, I need to read on it.
Okay. Recently, our Honorable Prime Minister was in visit to Europe and he visited many important countries. Which countries were there?
Ma'am, Denmark, Germany and France.
Okay. So in the three countries you mentioned, what positive outcomes came out of these three countries' visit?
Ma'am, firstly, India had tried to talk to the European powers regarding the security challenges that can be posed by China in case of the Indo-Pacific region. Secondly, ma'am, there were talks regarding the defense sector too, particularly with France.
You're just guessing?
Ma'am, there were certain talks.
Okay, what about climate change? Did anything good happen there?
Ma'am, in case of Denmark and Germany, they have progressed quite a lot in case of the clean energy. So there was talk regarding these things too.
We came up with a task force.
Ma'am, I need to read that, ma'am.
On green hydrogen. So coming on to my next question, what is green hydrogen?
Ma'am, green hydrogen, it is basically hydrogen which can be used as a fuel and it is derived from the renewable energy sources.
Okay. And renewable energy sources. And what about blue hydrogen?
Ma'am, blue hydrogen, though it is derived from the fossil fuels, but generally it is sequestered into the earth.
You sure?
I think, ma'am, that is the case of the blue hydrogen.
Okay, and when I say blue carbon sinks, what do you understand by that?
So, ma'am, the carbon emissions which are actually captured from the industries and the power plants, they are taken in tanks and certain other formations and then they are sequestered deep inside the caves or the
okay, that what you're saying is the artificial method of carbon sequestration. Can there be a natural, which ecosystems help to sequester carbon naturally?
Ma'am, forest,
and or if I ask about marine ecosystems?
Ma'am, algae can be there and marine plants. And carbon dioxide, ma'am, it can dissolve in water too.
What about corals?
Ma'am, corals, in case of corals, polyps, they can do photosynthesis, so they can help. But I think corals overall, ma'am, they have white structure and they are not.
They have?
They have a white structure, ma'am.
Okay. So you think if I say blue carbon, it is all blue?
Ma'am, blue, it means that.
No, I'm just want to come to your logic. If it's white, it cannot be a blue carbon sink?
Ma'am, I think corals cannot, ma'am, sequester the carbon because.
Okay, that is different logic, but you said they're white. So does color has to do with when I say blue carbon sink is my question.
Ma'am, because if something has a green color, then basically it is basically a plant and that can sequester carbon.
Okay, thank you.
Narinder, tell us briefly about the challenges faced by the power sector in our country with respect to generation, transmission and distribution.
Sir, in case of the generation, the shortage of coal is there with many of the generating stations. Secondly, sir, many of these generating stations, they have the power purchase agreements with the discoms which are actually failing and there are lots of disputes. Sir, from the transmission and the distribution side, the discoms, they are under debt burden. The transmission and the distribution losses, they are amounting to nearly 22% of the overall power that is supplied. power theft, it has become a major issue in case of distribution. And fourthly, sir, the reach and the infrastructure for the last mile connectivity, it still needs to be improved.
Okay, thank you very much, Narendra. Your interview is over. You may go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. May I come in, sir?
Come. Be seated.
Thank you, sir.
So this is your second attempt at the UPSC.
So sixth attempt, third
Sixth,
interview.
Third interview. So what has been going wrong with you? Last two occasions, how did you do?
So 140.
140. And prior to that?
157.
157. Could you analyze your performance? Why you are not getting very good marks?
Sir, last time it was a stress interview.
You are a well-informed person. It's not that you don't have information. You have all the input. Only thing is that you come under stress. I don't know why you are under stress. Hardly we could see a smile on your face. So, your interview is 24th, na?
Yes, sir.
So, your answers, you answered well, but try to be more specific, Narinder.
Yes, sir.
More to the point, absolutely to the point, precise, specific. That is what is important. Just when a question is asked, think what is the intent of asking the question. There is always an intent behind asking a question.
Yes, sir.
So try to understand that, and then just wait for a few seconds, collect your thoughts, prioritize your ideas, and then speak. That will enhance your performance, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And if you don't know, okay, you said I have to read, it's all right, I understand. If you don't know, it's better to say I have to read than to get into something and then retrace your step. That is the worst kind of an interview, when you start speaking something and then you realize that it's not going the way you wanted it to go, and then you retrace. It should not happen like that.
Yes, sir.
Honesty is the best policy. So whatever little time is there, I think your DAF is very diverse. So go through your DAF carefully.
Sir.
We could not ask so many other questions. International relations, make only 3-4 issues are very important. So make your opinion, informed opinion, and keep somewhere behind the back of your mind 3-4 important points. Where such questions are asked, you should be able to answer in a constructive manner. You are from Punjab issues, Punjab elections, your opinion and all that. Whenever you express an opinion, try to be very neutral, isn't it? Don't take sides.
Yes.
Just try to be very neutral. That's all. Otherwise, you are a good candidate for the civil services. You have proved your mettle. You have qualified twice, this third time. So, and if you have done well in your written examination, then if you take care of these points, you will be doing much better, because you should be aiming at something 175 to 200. And if you are able to get that, you will succeed. Definitely you will be in the list. So, happy, isn't it? Happy mood, youthful look, smile on face.
Yes, sir.
Head on your shoulder.
Yes.
That's it. Okay. So, all the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.